Hi, I'm Mike Zwingman, Agronomy R&D Manager for Central Valley Ag. This is your Monday Agronomy Update video that coincides with the Reach Out article on the CV blog site. In this week's article, we talk about the effects of cold temperatures and seed-to-soil contact on the quality of your stand because of its effect on germination. When we talk about germination, we really need to talk about the events leading up to the actual germination of that coleoptile and the radical root from the seed. And some of those things are always affected by temperature and moisture. So when we start with moisture, in the first 48 to 72 hours after the corn plant's planted, we need that plant to take in about twice its mass in water. So this little seed has to take in twice its weight in water to even start respirating at a rate that's going to get us germination. It also has to have that temperature drive that reaction to get the plant out of the ground. Now these two things are affected by some of the soil conditions in which you plant. This is normally why I write my article or talk about if you plant early, these are the things that happen. But I want to talk about the effect temperature and moisture both have here. Moisture, if we don't get that proper seed to soil contact because our seed bed wasn't just quite right and we're not getting that collapse of the seed trench and that three-dimensional contact of the seed to the soil, we're not going to get that addition of water effectively. That seed can't pull water across air. So if it sits in a dry pocket, it's not going to get the moisture it needs in that critical span. So if we have seeds that are properly placed and properly packed in, and seeds that aren't, we're going to have them germinating at two different rates. So we're going to have seed coming out of the ground at different times. That's bad. Also, that air allows that space right around the seed to heat and cool faster because it takes less energy to heat air than it does water. This is where planting depth and making sure we get that seed to soil contact right comes in place. The deeper we plant, the more stable the soil temperature is. The wetter it is down there, so that soil needs more energy to heat up and needs to lose more energy to cool down. When we start to think about that, that's why seeding depth is so important to have it consistent across the field. If you have seed planted at 2 inches, it takes about 125 GDUs to get it out of the ground. If you have it at 2.5 inches, it takes about 150. If you have it at 1.5 inches, it only takes about 100. But at that 1.5 inches, it might not be getting adequate moisture because that soil from about 1.5 inches above is really subject to hourly changes in soil temperature and soil moisture because of its proximity to the soil surface. These are the things we need to think about as we're going to make these planting decisions. Because this year, more than any year, it's so important to us to get that net effective stand percentage as high as we can and eliminate all the mistakes. There's things and tools we can use to properly place those seeds and properly get them in the ground firmly that Keith is going to talk about later this week. I want you to understand the risk. I want you to understand that a 50-degree soil is less stable than a 65-degree soil. And from 55 to 65, our emergence percentage is always going to go up. We have the capability with bigger planters and higher capacity of speed to go later into the year and cover our acres at the optimum time. So be patient, take your shots, and make sure we're doing the right thing. Because this little seed needs a lot of help to get into a plant. And when you have 38,000 of them, or 30,000 of them, or 28,000 of them on an acre, we need to get them all to come up within about 24 hours of each other to maximize your yield potential. And that's going to affect every decision we make down the line. So pay attention to soil moisture, pay attention to soil temperature, pay attention to your soil conditions when you plant, and go out and make the best choices you can. I know we can't be perfect all the time, but let's be perfect a high percentage of the time. As always, be safe, and we'll see you next week.